there's a movie coming out where actor Benedict Cumberbatch plays Julian Assange, and the movie is about WikiLeaks. And I'm on the press list for WikiLeaks. It's every once in a while they'll send stuff out, and I got a great press release yesterday with a letter that Julian Assange wrote to Benedict Cumberbatch, which I have here. If you're not following this, DreamWorks has put together a movie, and now there's a trailer out for a movie called The Fifth Estate, which is going to air on televisions nationwide. And Julian Assange has released a letter to actor Benedict Cumberbatch, who emailed Assange right before principal photography started, which was at the beginning of the year. And Benedict Cumberbatch wanted to meet in person with Julian Assange. That's something that often happens in when there is a movie made about a real life person. Oftentimes, the actor will meet with that person because they learn about them, they learn their mannerisms, they get to know them. Makes perfect sense. And Julian Assange declined to do this, and now WikiLeaks has rejected the letter, and I'll read some of it to you. I encourage you to read the whole thing, Lewis. It's compelling stuff. And Julian Assange basically says, listen, I've looked at the script for this movie, and it's filled with nonsense, and I just can't really imagine meeting with you. And the letter is compelling. I'll read a little bit of it. He thanks Benedict for contacting him, and he says, I think I would enjoy meeting you. The bond that develops between an actor and a living subject is significant. If the film reaches distribution, we will be forever correlated in the public imagination. Our paths will be forever intertwined. But I must speak directly. I hope you'll take such directness as a mark of respect, not as a mark of unkindness. I believe you're a good person, but I do not believe that this film is a good film. I do not believe it is going to be positive for me or the people I care about. I believe it is going to be overwhelmingly negative for me and the people I care about. It is based on a deceitful book by someone who has a vendetta against me and my organization. In other circumstances, this vendetta may have gone away, but our conflict with the United States government and the establishment press has created a patronage and commissioning market, powerful if unpopular, for works and comments that are harmful to us. I know the film intends to depict me and my work in a negative light. Lewis, what do you think about this? Would you do the same thing if the script was written and you knew there was no way you were going to be able to change the direction of the film, given the fact that the book it's based on is critical of you? Would you also decline to meet with the man who is playing you?
I would definitely, if I knew that the film, like you said, was not accurate or tried to paint me in a bad light, or I just didn't agree with it overall. Yeah, I would distance myself from it, and I would make that known to the public.
I'm interested in seeing this. While I understand that it is in fact based on a book which is critical of Julian Assange. Some of the inaccuracies that WikiLeaks says are in the movie. For example, the Fifth Estate falsely implies that WikiLeaks harmed 2,000 government informants. Not even the U.S. government is alleging that WikiLeaks harmed a single person. Most of the events depicted never even happened, or the people shown were not even involved in them. It has real names and real places, and it looks like it's covering real events, but it is still a dramatic and cinematic work. So there's kind of two sides on this, because it is not uncommon, Lewis, when there is a Hollywood movie made of real life events, that they do take creative liberties, right? At the same time, the counter argument is WikiLeaks and those leaks and Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange, the entire story has been wrought with corruption and the worst of the American mainstream, so-called mainstream establishment, that it is actually really damaging if the only interaction that many Americans and people around the world have with WikiLeaks and the story of what happened is a movie based on an incredibly biased book.
Right, that's definitely something to consider. And we could also talk about shoddy media coverage of the whole thing.
We could.
And it's unfortunate. And we know that in the vast majority of cases like this, Hollywood does completely exaggerate and add things to these movies.
The question I pose to our viewers is, will the net effect of this be positive in that more people being aware of WikiLeaks and Julian Assange in the absence of the specific biases of the movie will be good? Or will the movie actually do more harm? Will it do net harm in the sense that it will give people a negative impression of WikiLeaks that may not be connected to reality. I'm curious to hear the thoughts of our audience.